Hey everyone, welcome to episode 17 of the Comic Boot. I'm Kalen.
I'm Cody.
I'm James.
So today, this is the first full week of February, so we're going to celebrate Black History Month. And February also happens to coincidentally be the shortest month out of the year.
So?
It gets longer by one day every 4 years.
Yeah, they get an extra day every 4 years, man.
Oh, what a nice little surprise that is.
Whatever.
Okay, so we're going to talk about some influential, I guess would be a good word to use, black characters in both Marvel and DC, and who we like personally. So, James, I know you have a couple that you're really passionate about.
Well, I'm not really passionate. I mean, passionate as passion can be, but the one thing, I mean, we wouldn't be talking about African-American characters. Well, he's not African-American, though. He's just black. But it's not African-American History Month, it's Black History Month. So I guess this counts, right?
Who are you talking about?
Black Panther.
Yeah, but he's Wakandan, so he is African.
But he's not African-American. You know what I'm saying.
Oh, like he's not an American
Yeah, because
citizen?
as an American, we're like conditioned to say African-American now as like being the proper nomenclature for all this.
You could just say African.
Well, yeah, for him specifically, right?
him
But not like Luke Cage. I just can't call him an African.
Well, no, because he's born in America.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You're understanding my point. We're just saying the same things
No,
differently.
I get what you're saying. So do you want to talk about Black Panther, or?
No, I'm just saying that we need to pay homage to him being the first black superhero.
Sure.
As I use air quotes, black superhero, because, well, he is.
I mean, he is black.
Right, and his first appearance was Fantastic Four, correct?
Yes, in the 60s. He was the first ever black superhero to appear in comic books.
Right.
But he wasn't the first one to have his own solo book.
No, and that's where I come in. That's where Luke Cage comes in. And I know that we did an entire Netflix series thing and talked a lot about Luke Cage and stuff, but Luke Cage in 1973 actually got his own series.
Heroes for Hire.
Well, no, it was actually
Power Man.
It was just Luke Cage, wasn't it?
No, he used to be called Power Man before he was Luke Cage.
No, he wasn't.
He was Luke Cage, then Power Man, then Luke Cage.
Yeah, he was. The first book that he had was Heroes for Hire #1, and that was in 1973, June of 73, or June of 72. Sorry, June of 72. I have it all written down here. And of course, much like the Netflix series, his real name was Carl Lucas. He did have a relationship with Willis Stryker. They were actually childhood friends. And if you watch the Netflix series, you're going to get basically Luke Cage's origin story. They've taken some liberties with the Netflix series to propel, I guess, storyline and things like that.
But it's still really accurate.
It is. Well, with the Willis Stryker stuff, with the Diamondback stuff, it is.
And how he got his powers.
Basically, Carl volunteers for a program to get jail time taken off instead of going into this program just for the shits and grins of some scientist, Dr. Noah Burstein. And they use a variant of the super soldier process that they use to create Captain America. But while he's in there, Rackham. That's it. He cranks it up to 11, and
yeah, because he's pissed because he lost his job or he's on probation and he blames Luke for it. So
Luke gets, what happens when, shit happens in comics like that, superpowers.
Yeah, every time there's a horrible accident, they get
superpowers. So I just want to have horrible accidents so I can get superpowers. I don't care what it is. I know it's really fatalistic of me.
What if it's you shoot lasers out of your dick, though?
What? Why is that the first thing?
Why is that the first thing you say?
It was a Dane Cook stand-up.
Just lasers? Oh my god, a Dane Cook joke? That's vintage.
Bro down! Gronkowski! So Luke breaks out of prison, sets up Heroes for Hire, eventually proves that he's innocent of the drug charges that Stryker set him up for, and that's why he went to jail in the first place. Obviously ends up becoming, he starts out as Luke Cage. Later he becomes known as Power Man because he wants to be known as Power Man. But the best part about Luke Cage at the very beginning is his stupid ass outfit, where he's wearing the silver tiara, the big ass slave chains around his waist, and the yellow shirt.
He's got the big bracers on each of his wrists.
Yeah,
The bracers were like the one thing that really stuck. He still has bracers.
Yeah, and they've gotten bigger.
Now they're like from where his wrist starts to like halfway down his forearm.
And it's like Hulk hands.
What?
They're like Hulk hands. They're so huge. Just it's almost like bionic arms.
Yeah, but I mean, they kind of... I've noticed that artists like to do that with characters who have super strength, or they're invulnerable to something. Like, they kind of make them bigger and beefier, and like, I would love to see like some shrimpy little dude with super strength, like some dude with like a pocket protector and shit.
Like, as we're talking about later next week, or later in the next episode, the little scrawny ass Bruce Banner.
And
Old Man Logan.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so ultimately becomes known as Power Man. Some of the things that Luke Cage has done, he's been in Fantastic Four, obviously Heroes for Hire with his BFF forever, Danny Rand. And
Iron Fist.
Yeah, so
he's also getting a Netflix series that we've covered.
Yeah, and of course the Defenders are going to come out of that, and of course set stuff.
They've already had photo shoots.
Yeah, and then set images have come out of Daredevil and Jessica Jones. And of course, he ends up having a relationship with Jessica Jones where they get married and have a kid, and then Civil War happens.
Danielle, I think's the kid's name.
Something like that,
yeah. And then Civil War happens.
Danny Rand.
That's awesome. Civil War happens, and Tony Stark comes to him and says, register, and Jessica Jones goes, fuck off. And she basically bails to Canada with the kid, and Luke Cage joins Cap's side.
But of course, we're not going to see that in the show because...
No.
I mean, they've already done Civil War in the MCU.
Yeah. And there's so much that...
Oh, there's so much in Civil War that... I mean, they couldn't even touch on everything.
When Marvel about went bankrupt, I mean, it screwed so many properties over. But...
And, like, it was like the 90s, wasn't it?
Around
the early 90s, and then they had to sell off all their big franchises.
Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, all that stuff.
I would love for Fox to be nice enough to give them back the Fantastic Four. Because if we can see, like, the Fantastic Four intermingled into what we have now with the MCU... It would be so much better.
Well, Luke Cage took over...
so much more stuff you could do.
Luke Cage took over in Fantastic Four when Thing lost his powers.
Yes.
And then, of course, Heroes for Hire, I already said that. Avengers, Marvel Knights, which was with Daredevil, the New Avengers, and then, of course, Defenders.
Yeah.
He's been a part of all that stuff. So, but yeah, Luke Cage, man. And honestly, I got turned on to Luke Cage by the Netflix series. Did a lot of, subsequent research and things like that, and... just really, really enjoy the feel of the show, and that kind of led me down the path to go get Luke Cage #1 from this last run that they had.
Cage.
Yeah, and hated the art. But fortunately...
It's getting rebooted
already, and the artist... I sent that to you today. Do you remember that guy's name?
Something the second.
Oh, that narrows it down.
No, but
Cody's looking it up.
I looked up some of his art, and he and it's some good stuff. Like, I actually liked the previous things that he has done.
Well, he's done a lot of deviant art and things like that, but
yeah, I'm trying to find the name in our group chat, which, good luck with that.
Yeah, who knows? But anyway, so it's getting rebooted, and the art looks like it's going to be really, really good. So between that and then, of course, my special love for Miles Morales and his origin story. Miles Morales obviously wasn't
Nelson Blake II.
Nelson Blake II is going to be the artist on the new Cage book. Miles Morales was created by Bendis in 2011, whenever they were poised to kill off Peter Parker, and of course subsequently did. And Miles Morales' origin story is that his uncle is Prowler. Prowler breaks into Parker Labs and steals a serum, and one of the spiders jumps in onto Prowler's suit. A couple of days later, Morales shows up at Prowler's apartment, and the spider bites Miles Morales, and he gets basically the same power set that Peter Parker has. But he's a relatively newer character, only been around for like 6 years.
Yeah, roughly 6 years.
5-6 years.
And he's
really
also popular.
He's extremely popular, and it doesn't hurt that Donald Glover voiced him in the animated series. So
he was based off Donald Glover.
Well,
he wrote it.
He was
created and based around.
He was also an answer to our first African American president, saying that people are ready for an African American. Well, he's African American and Puerto Rican, but an African American Spider-Man, because Spider-Man has such a huge following that let's do something different instead of this white face that we always have in comics. Let's give one of the most popular comic book characters. Let's make him black.
And this is one of those things it worked out really well because Miles Morales has taken off, and now he's not even in the Ultimates universe anymore, because Ultimates universe isn't really a thing after Secret Wars, but now he's intermingled into the core Marvel universe.
Yeah, I mean, he played a front and center role in Civil War II.
Yeah, that's right.
And ultimately, when Tony Stark protected him from fighting Captain Marvel, that's what led to Tony Stark being put into a coma.
And which is how we have Riri Williams now, who is also black. She's a young black woman. She kind of just fell into...
Ironheart.
Yeah, she's Ironheart. She's not Iron Man or Iron Woman. She's called Ironheart. And I might pick that up in trade. I haven't read really anything of it. I mean, it's great that you have heroes like this, because representation does matter.
It does. It very much does. And, I mean, we talked about that with the Muslim characters that they're bringing in with Simon Baz and Kamala Khan, and, which is very important, especially
right now. It's great.
But, I mean, that just, those are three, I guess. I mean, we covered Black Panther a little bit, and of course we're going to get a movie. Now, how comic accurate that's going to be, we'll see, but we all know that, I mean, out of all of the comic book characters that we've seen ever, he's probably the richest.
Oh, yeah.
He's like the wealthiest hero in the Marvel universe.
Yeah. Well, and DC.
Is he?
Oh, yeah. They like rank them all. And like Lex Luthor is up there with Tony Stark, but number one is...
Well, whenever you own a country that has all the vibranium in the world...
All the vibranium. This insanely rare metal.
If I remember right, like, the jump from Lex Luthor to Black Panther is huge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In wealth. Like, he's worth... I think he's in the trillions.
It's probably resemblant of America's military prowess compared to the next 33 countries.
Yeah.
And kind of piggybacking off the Africans, or like not African American, but actually African, Storm, one of the most popular X-Men out there, she's Kenyan. And she was, she had a regular childhood.
Yeah, don't believe the Apocalypse movie origin thing.
Right. She was not in freaking Egypt. She's Kenyan, first of all.
Egypt technically is Africa.
It's in Africa for sure, but it's not her actual origin.
Right.
And she had a regular childhood, grow up in a nice little African village, was worshipped as a goddess because of her mutant abilities, every kid's story. And then she eventually... she grows up, and of course she has to protect her village at certain points because there are, I guess, splinter groups of different, like religious people.
And stuff,
yeah, like warlords and, people who worship different deities. They see her as like a, false prophet or whatever. But then, of course, she...
Because of her mutant powers.
Because of her mutant powers.
Right.
But then, of course, she gets picked up with the X-Men. She becomes a full-time member, and I think at one point she went in the comics, she runs a school, or she had her own series for a short while. It was only like 12 issues, but I read the whole thing, and it was really good. That's when she had like the big white mohawk.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah.
That was the 80s, man.
Yeah, they brought that back. She had the mohawk for
Which, of course, they
a little bit.
Stole that look for Killer Frost and...
in Injustice?
In Injustice, yeah.
Oh, Regime.
Yeah, they totally did. Because it was kind of like her... where she was a vampire for a little bit. Bloodstorm. She had her mutant abilities as well as the abilities of a vampire. So that was
also
cool.
was married to Black Panther.
She was.
Yep.
She was Queen of Wakanda for a little bit. I don't think that's a thing anymore.
No, they got divorced.
Oh, well.
I'm pretty sure.
Did she get half the kingdom? Because she should have. I know a guy.
It rhymes with Octor Oon.
No, I know a guy that would have gotten a couple of jet skis in that driveway. Man, she needs half that kingdom. She's gonna get divorced from
when you're in trouble.
T'Challa.
Better call Saul.
That's right. Goddamn right. Yeah, the other one, as I look on my wall.